What's going on, everybody? You found Bottom Tier Collector, and I'm your host, The Bearded One. As a quick preface, I just want to say you're going to hear some background noise. My son is screaming and playing with toys, and I don't want to spoil the fun. He's allowed to play with his toys and watch cartoons as he wishes, as long as he's not being too rambunctious. So just pay no mind to these noises if they do, in fact, bother you. As always, thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting on my content, my channel, any support you give me. It's always much appreciated. As you can see, the Spawn action figure is back here. I did get it in, like I said this morning. I will do a review on that action figure possibly tonight, but there's an 80% chance or more of me just filming and reviewing the action figure tomorrow. Since I recorded that video, I have picked up my son again outside, and I just don't want to be pulling out action figures meant to be collected for me with my 4-year-old son. Obviously, I buy him toys and stuff for him. This is for daddy, so I'd rather review that toy when I can get some time alone. I might do it tonight again if my wife wants to take a bath. I can get like 30 minutes or so to myself. I might do something tonight, but just expect tomorrow. Hope for tonight, expect tomorrow. If you're hanging on for that Gunslinger Spawn action figure review. So yeah, let's get into what this video is about. I want to give you guys a general vague reaction. I don't want to do a critique. I don't even want to review. I'll give you guys a grade just because I want to give a grade, but that's really about all I'm going to do as far as a review goes. Just to kind of quantify my feelings towards Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness. And I want to give some advice. Now, I don't have, obviously we're bottom tier in it. We're at the bottom tier of the community. So I can't put any jump cuts into the video, but I'll give you guys a chance to skip on out of here. I'm going to try not to spoil anything with advice that I want to give about this movie. The advice is going to be for stuff I would recommend for people that are new to the MCU, or like maybe you need a refresher or something. And then at the end, I've got at least one burning question that I want to ask, and that could be spoilery-ish as well. I think all of this is safe for spoiler-free stuff. Some of this might be, for people who are really just don't want to hear anything about the movie until they see it. I will give you guys a chance to head on out of here and go get a chance to see the movie without any noise or distractions. So first up, my instant reaction, I'll just go ahead and say it. 10 out of 10, my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, period. Now, I do want to give some context to this grade. I know there's a lot of mixed reviews out here. X11 Bravo commented on my video I made this morning about, being on the way to Multiverse of Madness and being excited about it. He commented that a lot of people are trashing on it. I saw Reggie Collect's video that Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness is receiving a B+. So I want to give some context here, just why my grade maybe sticks out compared to groupthink or other bigger channels' opinions. So I don't really care about the Marvel Universe as a whole. I really don't. And I had seen movies here and there. I was picking and choosing what I was seeing. I had seen the first 2 Hulk movies, Eric Bana, which is not MCU, and the Fight Club guy, Edward Norton, the Edward Norton Hulk movie. I saw that. I saw Iron Man 1. I saw Iron Man 2. And that was about it. that was about it until my son was born about 3 years ago. That was my entire knowledge of the MCU. And the reason why I got into the MCU, keep in mind, I have been collecting comics for almost 10 years. So the MCU had been well on its way into what it is now by the time I got into the hobby. And by the time I got into the MCU, I got into the MCU because my marriage with my wife was facing some hardships. No, it wasn't between me and my wife. We were just going through some hard times. My son was born as a first child. He had latching problems. I try not to be TMI here. He had latching problems. It was hard for her to sleep. And I just took it upon myself. I told her, look, we're bottle feeding. You can't feed the child naturally like we would like. You have to pump. So here's what we'll do. You make your own pump schedule. I'm going to keep your sanity. You're the mother. You're the one that went through the pregnancy, birthed my son. I'm going to step up here and I'm going to stay awake all night and keep this child fed while you get your sleep. And I really do honestly think me stepping up went a long way towards strengthening my marriage, which we weren't on hard times before the pregnancy. Really weren't having any personal issues between me and my wife during raising my child during the first year of his life. But that was just really hard, and I just knew if I didn't step up and be a man, be the husband I'm supposed to be, probably wouldn't be married to my wife today. That's really how hard it was to raise our son. It was a culture shock for us. We were brand new parents. But anyways, rabbit trail. I started watching the MCU while I was staying awake all through the night and feeding my son. I would nod off, but I just came to a point where I'm like when I first did it, I was trying to actually sleep, and I would just wake up to feed him and go right back to sleep. And I said, one, this is probably dangerous because he might not wake me up after a while. And two, I need peace of mind. Sitting here trying to get these, because he was cluster feeding, it'd be like every 15 minutes needing something for a couple hours through the night before he would finally settle down. And I finally just said, I need something to get me through these nights, get me through this sanity. So I turned to the MCU. I was like, I'm not even a Marvel fan for real. Granted, I love Wolverine. I love Moon Knight. I have very fond memories of the X-Men animated cartoon. I own X-Men Super Nintendo games. Those arcade X-Men games are very near and dear to me. I've seen 3 of the Fox X-Men movies now. And so I love the mutants, and I love Moon Knight, and I'm coming over to Daredevil. I am coming over to Daredevil. But when it comes to the grand MCU, I'm just not really attached to it. I could care less. Like, I watched Loki, and I know some people were like, Loki's the greatest thing ever, blowing my mind, such a fantastic show. I love the direct, and I watched it, and I was like, it was entertaining. I like Owen Wilson, but So yeah, I'm just kind of casual about the MCU universe. I really only collect Wolverine and Moon Knight. I've already said that before. So really a lot of my knowledge is in Wolverine and Moon Knight. I'm a DC fanboy, proud of it. Etrigan, Lobo, 2 of my top 3 favorite characters of all time. So there's context there, and I love the DCU movies. Hot take, I know. I'm going to leave it there. Blast me in the comments for saying, you DC fanboy, you're going to do what it takes to just love these movies. You're not going to be honest about them. Just bring those brutally honest comments to the comment board. And also, my feelings about the MCU. I have favorite movies in the MCU. Excellent movies. But I have hot takes. Everything at the top of my list of, the best MCU movies. Doctor Strange 1 until until today, because I already established 10 out of 10. Doctor Strange 1 was my favorite MCU movie of all time. And then when I saw this today, this is now my favorite MCU movie. Period. Not for debate. Actually, it is for debate. I will debate anyone. I encourage you to disagree with me. I'm not here to influence you, even though that's what a lot of us content creators are called these days. Please exercise your First Amendment rights, and let's have some discourse in the comments. So yeah, I love Doctor Strange. I'm a Doctor Strange fanboy. Thor Ragnarok is in my top 5 all-time MCU movies, and I didn't even like Thor at all. In fact, by the time I got to Avengers 2, when I was staying up, running through the MCU for that peace of mind while I raised my son, kept him fed through the night, I hated Thor. And by the time I got to Avengers 2, I was like, I can't stand Thor. All he's doing is hammering people, and he's literally the god of thunder. Like, it was starting to piss me off about Thor and the way he was being handled. And Thor Ragnarok came and gave me everything I wanted, and now I'm a Thor fanboy, and I wish I could collect Thor. Iron Man 3, hot take right here. I love Iron Man 3. I don't care that the Mandarin was a sham and poorly mishandled. I don't care that he was some goofy actor. I don't care. I found it entertaining. I love Iron Man 3. I thought all the Iron Man suits was cool. I thought the way they killed the bad guy was cool. I thought the setup for the Infinity War and Endgame from Iron Man was cool. I love Iron Man 3. I would... And then here's some more hot takes. Captain America Civil War, worst movie. I put it below Thor Dark World. And Thor Dark World and Thor... Captain America Civil War is my worst MCU movie. Thor Dark World's second worst MCU movie. And Thor 1 was third worst MCU movie. I hate those movies. I cannot stand them. And right above those, I would put Captain America 1, don't care for it, nah. And then the second Captain America movie, nah. Don't care for it. I'm not going to poo-poo on these movies here in this video. That's not what we're here to talk about. But yeah, I'm just trying to show you. I would put Infinity War and Endgame in the middle, in the meh range. I'm just not emotionally invested in these characters. Same with Spider-Man. All these Spider-Man fans, their minds are being blown. There was a guy that audibly cheered in the new Spider-Man movie when Tobey Maguire stepped through the Doctor Strange portal, and I was like, okay, I've seen the Sam Raimi movies. They were good. I have a childhood attachment to them, but whatever. It's Spider-Man, but not a huge fan of Spider-Man. I hated Amazing Spider-Man. The Andrew Garfield, I haven't even watched the second one. I probably will now that I'm older and I'm not so harsh on things anymore. I'm probably going to go back and watch the second Andrew Garfield movie just to kind of tie in all those loose ends for me from the Spider-Man movie. And I did enjoy I've enjoyed all the Spider-Man movies except for that first Amazing Spider-Man movie. And Spider-Man 3, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3. That is an all-time worst comic book movie ever. Worse than Civil War. So yeah, that's just some context about my feelings about the MCU. So I want to get all this out so that you can know where I'm coming from and my feelings about Doctor Strange. I also want to add Peter Quill, Wanda Maximoff, or Scarlet Witch, and Doctor Strange, top 3. That is my top 3 MCU characters. Period. Not for debate. I love Scarlet Witch and Peter Quill or Star-Lord and Doctor Strange or Steven. I forget his last name. I need to know Doctor Strange's civilian name. So, okay. Preface is out of the way. Now we'll get into the review. I'll give you guys a chance here. Alright, I gave you guys the chance to get out of here if you don't want to hear my opinions about this movie. Again, 10 out of 10, all-time favorite MCU movie. Why? Well, let's not go into detail here, but I will try my best to give you guys, to express myself in this video. I was really a fan of the pacing here. it was a roller coaster. It was up and down. It was fast and slow. Um, they would give you action and pull you back, and sometimes they would pull you back and make you cry a tear. I got a little emotional and had to do in some scenes. And there were other times where they'd pull you back from the fast-paced scenes and give you some funny moments, some comedy relief. So I really thought the writing, the scripting, it was just all on par. The movie flowed well. The directing, that whole technical side of it, perfect. It was the roller coaster I wanted in the movie. And I thought the 2 hour length was perfect. It didn't feel too long. Spider-Man, some people say, well, Spider-Man and Endgame were like 4 hours long, and it didn't feel like 4 hours. Well, it felt like 4 hours to me. It took me a while to get through. I think I had to break Infinity War up into 2-day sittings. And then Spider-Man, like, I don't feel like it had to be that long, but when you're bringing in Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and Jamie Foxx and the Sandman guy that is from George of the Jungle, bringing in all these old actors, you're paying all this fan service to the fans that have stuck by Spider-Man. I understand why that movie was 3 hours. Just, again, hot take, it was kind of long. However, Doctor Strange, it didn't feel too short, I thought, or too long. I thought the pacing perfect, and the length of the film was great. I would love to see a director's cut on Blu-ray. I will be buying this movie on Blu-ray. I need to buy Doctor Strange 1 on Blu-ray, with extra deleted scenes or whatever. That would be fun. The effects, I thought, sometimes with these movies, see, I didn't get into Harry Potter, and then my measuring stick for, like, this isn't spoilery, this should be obvious. I'm going to say something that was in the movie. A wizard's duel. Let's just call it a wizard's duel. I feel like that's generic enough. My barometer for a wizard's duel is Sword in the Stone, Madam Mim and Merlin, and Lord of the Rings, The Dark Tower, or the Twin Tower, not the Twin Towers. Wow, that's a bad joke. I think it's the Dark Tower. It's number 2, anyways. Lord of the Rings, The Dark Tower. Is it Sauron or Sauron? Shame on you, J.K. Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien. I can't remember his name. There's also a George R.R. Martin. Shame on you, Tolkien, for naming Sauron and Saruman the two main bad guys in Lord of the Rings, like basically the same name. But Christopher Lee's character, I think it's Saruman. Him and, dang it, I forgot his name. Magneto from the Fox X-Men movies. Gandalf, he played Gandalf. Their Wizard's Duel. That's kind of my barometer, so I get kind of nervous because I love the Merlin and Madam Mim Wizard's Duel. That's fantastic. That's a top 5 all-time movie for me. But that's a cartoon. That's for kids. And the Wizard's Duel and Lord of the Rings, Dark Tower 2, whatever the movie's called, wasn't that great. It was underwhelming. I was like, that's it? These are like the 2 greatest wizards in all of Lord of the Rings, and we're just getting a couple shots where they're flung against the wall, and that's it? Like, what are you doing? So, those not being my expectations, but those being my gauge for a wizard's duel, all the wizards dueling, all the magic, all the effects, I thought looked great. They really handled concepts that we have no physical reference for in this world. I could take them seriously. Nothing felt hokey. The sets didn't look cheap. The editing looked great. There was a really creative duel in the movie that I was super impressed with. I'm like, this is cool. Like, this is thinking outside of the box. I really appreciated that scene. Also, yeah, again, knocked it out of the park with like the effects. I thought the score was kind of... The score would be a nitpick. However, the score didn't take me out of the movie. I just kept hearing John Williams. I was like, it would really be nice to have John Williams in this movie specifically. I feel like this is a John Williams appropriate movie. But you can't put John Williams in everything. I get it, and he's preoccupied with Obi-Wan Kenobi anyways. However, I still liked the score. It was still good. It was unique in some parts. The acting was phenomenal. There was okay. Let's rewind. There's one. Well, you know what? I'm getting so excited. I'm going to have one real nitpick, not the score. Sorry, had to check something on my phone. Sorry if you saw that on camera. I'll do my nitpick at the end. I want to keep rolling here. So the acting was great. Emily Olsen, Ashley Olsen. I forget her name. The oldest Olsen sister, or is she the youngest Olsen sister? I can't remember. But Scarlet Witch had me in tears a couple times. I mean, you had the two most tragic characters in the MCU. Doctor Strange. I know Peter Quill's got some tragedy behind him. But man, Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, I think bar none, have the most tragic backstories in the MCU. They pull on my heartstrings, and they did it again. They pulled on my heartstrings again in this movie. And I liked being on the verge of crying, because that's what I was looking for with Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange being at the front of this movie. There were some new actors in this movie, and they all did great. Nobody turned me off. Saw a lot of familiar faces. Just nothing felt off. Everything felt good. It felt like the collaboration, like everybody being in character. Nobody clashed. It's just good. Good acting. I'm not an acting coach. That's about all I can say for that. And now here's my nitpick. And I'm going to be general. I'm going to speak basic. I'm not going to name names or detail anything. There's one character in this movie that I didn't care for. I think this character... I think this is a hot take. I think a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this character. Just for me and my taste and what I like in a character, what I usually like a protagonist to be, I don't like a scaredy cat protagonist. I like my protagonist to be strong and confident in themselves and stand up to the bad guy. And so that's my one nitpick. This specific character was kind of a scaredy cat. But that's it. I don't want to say too much at all. But again, it's not a make or break. I loved this movie. I stand by everything I said. 10 out of 10. My favorite MCU movie of all time. Yes, more than Endgame. Yes, more than Spider-Man 3. I know it's hard for more than Captain America Civil War. I know it's hard for some people to believe that, some of us disagree with groupthink. Well, yeah, that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Please disagree with me. I'm going to go into advice for this movie. I got a little advice I'm going to give people going to this movie. And I'm going to pause here because I can't put jump cuts into this video. So I'm going to give you guys a chance to get out of here that don't want to hear any of my advice, because they might connect dots faster. All right. So if you've stuck with me at the 24-minute mark, well, roughly 24 minutes, I'm going to give some advice here. The first advice I would give you when you go into this movie, whether you're a veteran of the MCU or you're a younger, newer viewer, or maybe you're an older viewer that's deciding that this is going to be your first MCU movie, pay attention. Now, I got a small popcorn, small cherry Coke, and Sour Patch Kids, and I did make it to the movie before I ate it all. I had some goodies until about halfway through the movie. Pay attention. Don't Obviously, you're not going to be on your cell phone, but pay attention. Don't be distracted. Don't make out with your partner or your date. All right, Spider-Man heard me talking about the Spider-Man movies, so I think he had to come in here and represent Spider-Man, Spider-Man. You gonna shoot him?
I don't have my webs anymore.
Spider-Man doesn't have his webs. They're getting fixed right now. So anyways, like I was saying, pay attention to the movie. I feel like the movie is easy to navigate. They don't hold your hand and walk you through the movie. All right, Spider-Man wanted to get out of here, so got that taken care of. But again, they don't hold your hand and walk you through the movie. It is fairly easy to keep up with the plot. They did a good job of giving you clues to navigate, pretty obvious clues, help you navigate what's going on, who's who. It says multiverse in the movie, so I'll say this helps you to know what multiverse, what universe you're in. That's as far as I'll go with that. But pay attention, because I feel like you could get lost if you go to start making out with your date, or you kill your bag of popcorn while not watching the TV, or even break the cardinal rule of texting while you're in the movie theater. So that's my first advice. My second advice would be, there's some movies and shows I want to recommend. I really want to recommend you watch WandaVision. A lot of people, believe it or not, have not seen WandaVision. If you're going to see Doctor Strange and you haven't seen WandaVision, I really want to encourage you to watch WandaVision. If for some reason you live under a rock, I really want to encourage you to watch Avengers Endgame. You can skip Infinity War, although watching Infinity War and Endgame together is going to make it more of a cohesive story, and the references are going to make a lot more sense. However, I highly encourage you to watch Endgame if you're going to skip around and skip Infinity War. I would recommend you watch the latest Spider-Man movie. I don't know where you can get that, not for rent right now. I would try to find it somewhere and rent it if it's not on Blu-ray yet. Let's see here. I recommended WandaVision, Endgame, Spider-Man movie. You might want to watch. Doctor Strange 1. There's not a whole lot of reference there, but it'll give you some. There is a reference to something that happened in Doctor Strange 1, so you might want to watch that to just be aware of the minor reference there. It's almost more of an Easter egg than a reference. I would recommend, you really need to watch the What If Doctor Strange episode. You really, really, really need to watch the What If Doctor Strange episode. It's on Disney Plus if you don't have that subscription, or if you do. What else would I recommend? There was one more movie I had recommended that would make sense. Oh, Shang-Chi. There's a little bit of... there's no referencing to Shang-Chi. Spoiler, but I don't feel like anybody saw that coming. But I think it would help. I think it would help just give you a clearer picture of everything and where everybody's at that's in this movie. If you watch Shang-Chi, just kind of give you more of an idea of where everybody's going, where the universe is headed. So yeah, that's my advice. I'm going to pause here because I can't do jump cuts again, and give you guys a chance that don't want to hear my burning question, a chance to get out of here. All right, so if you got out of here, I have one burning question, and I want to say before I say this question, if you've made it to 29 and almost 30 minutes now, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video and put up with all the rambling and diatribes and rabbit trails and tangents I got on in this video. Hope you found it entertaining. Now on to the burning question. So, my question is that I have from this movie is, if Doctor Strange, so if the Avengers, not even Doctor Strange, if the Avengers executed the one possible move, period, the one possible move, this is the one, I believe they thought this was the one universe where they were going to execute the one move they could make to defeat Thanos. If that is true, why do more Doctor Stranges exist in the multiverse? In fact, why is there more versions of people that Thanos snapped in the multiverse? If that was the one time Thanos was ever going to be beaten in this one specific universe. Now, I have some ways to answer this question. I can accept that if you know anything about E equals MC squared, that's the theory of relativity. Time moves differently when gravity messes with it. The time-space continuum of gravity and time being interwoven like cloth, and then as you put mass in certain spots of the time-space continuum, it bends down the time-space continuum and makes time move differently. So in layman's terms, for those of you who that went over your head, time just moves differently in different areas of the universe. Let's just leave it there. I'm not an expert physicist. I don't have a degree in physics. That's just my understanding from watching many universe building documentaries over the years. So I can accept that maybe there's different Doctor Stranges in existence in the multiverse because he is seeing Doctor Stranges, like these Doctor Stranges that are alive and exist. So Doctor Strange existing is not really my question. How are there other Doctor Stranges that are still alive? So, okay, now let's reel it back into time moving differently at different points of the universe or the multiverse or blah, 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 blah. He could be looking at Doctor Stranges that are alive that either Thanos didn't exist in that universe or from the past. They're from the past. They haven't reached the point where Thanos kills everybody. So that is one thing I will accept. Another thing I just lost my train of thought. So like another thing I would accept is that like just screwing with the multiverse created more Doctor Stranges that exist. So like maybe you can deal with now that they're dealing with the multiverse, man, this is some really theoretical stuff here that nobody really even, I mean, there's absolutely no way to test these theories or prove them, but in physics. But so say now that we're dealing with the multiverse, the thought is that there's an infinite amount of multiverses. So maybe there's an entire multiverse. Not a universe. A multiverse is multiple universes, right? Maybe there's an entire segmented multiverse of Doctor Stranges that exist. Like screwing with the timeline of what they did in Infinity War, created, you know, an entire multiverse of Doctor Stranges. I think I had something else pretty good to say about this question. But yeah, that is my question. I'll repeat it again, and we'll just end with that. If the Avengers executed the one move... Oh, I remember what I was going to say. This is the third thing I will accept. Doctor Strange admitted in... I think he admitted in either the Spider-Man movie or Endgame, he really doesn't know how the multiverse even works. So maybe Doctor Strange, he didn't lie. He really believed that they were executing the one move in all of the multiverse or universe that was going to kill Thanos. But because he was unaware or didn't know about the multiverse or doesn't know how it works, maybe he's wrong. Maybe there was more than one way to defeat Thanos. It's just that the way that he saw all the possibilities he saw, he could only see inside of this universe or this multiverse, because there could be multiverses, and then if you're a DC Comics fan, there's an omniverse as well. So yeah, it's just all a lot of theoretical, grandiose stuff when you get into alternate dimensions and multiverses and stuff. But yeah, Doctor Strange might not have been right about that being the one way they could defeat Thanos, and that being a way other Doctor Stranges could be alive. I hope you found this entertaining. I hope this mini thought experiment I put into the back of this video you found entertaining, possibly enriching. Hope it sparked some thought. Hope this video sparked some conversation. I'm going to get off here. Thank you for watching if you made it to 36 or 37 minutes. Until next time, guys.